Hello and welcome to another trip report. This time I'll be taking the longest possible journey you can make on one single train in the Netherlands, which is from Maastricht in the southeast of the Netherlands to Den Helder in the northwest. It's approximately 300 kilometers. This train also calls at, lots of bigger cities like Utrecht and Amsterdam. There are only 3 trains per day that run on this entire route. Actually, normally these trains terminate in, I thought, Alkmaar or Schagen, I don't know exactly, but during rush hour these trains continue to Den Helder, so this is only during working days. 3 on the way north in the evening and 3 on the way south in the morning. As always, I first show you the station where I'm departing from, which is Maastricht in this case. Then I show you the trains. I will show you different train types on this route because there are different trains. And after that I will show you some views from the train. As always, subscribe to my channel when you like to see more trip reports and give me a thumbs up when you like this video. Enjoy the video. Okay, one side note, I recorded this video during the COVID-19 pandemic, so this is why it's pretty quiet all over the place and you see some warnings and see people wearing face masks. But I want this video to be timeless and also to be helpful for you when you're traveling in, let's say, 4 years from now. So in the video I'll just act like there's nothing going on.
This is the route for my train today, from Maastricht in the southeast of the Netherlands to Den Helder in the northwest of the Netherlands. Maastricht railway station is not a terminal station, although lots of trains do end or start their journey here. In front of the railway station you'll find a big parking grass for bikes. This parking grass is situated under the square in front of the railway station. From the railway station it's only a short walk to the city center. On the side of the railway station you'll find a big bus stop. Well, there are buses to pretty much all over the region, and since Maastricht is located next to the border with Belgium, you'll find of course buses to Belgium here as well. These buses will go to Flanders. The trains to Belgium from here will go to Wallonia in Belgium. Information about departures, timetables, etc. is all very clear at the bus station. As you can see here, the exit of the railway station is actually next to the bus station. But I'll start by showing the prettiest part of the railway station, what is the main station hall. From here you can reach pretty much all train tracks. And you can find several vending machines and timetables. There are vending machines for both the Dutch railway company and the Belgian railway company. Apart from the vending machines where you can buy tickets, in the main hall you'll also find the tickets and service desk. A bridge will guide you to the tracks 5 and 6, but also to the back of the railway station. All platforms are accessible by an elevator and stairs. International trains do depart from the tracks 5 or 6 at this moment. You'll find 1 local train per hour to Liège in Belgium and 1 train per hour, what's also a local train, to Aachen in Germany. I also made a trip report on the train from Aachen to Maastricht. Actually, this train was planned to be extended to Liège in Belgium as well, but I explain more in that video about this. Most trains that do depart and arrive here are trains of Arriva. These are all local trains. Actually, the only long distance trains that will go here are national trains of the state-owned railway company of the Netherlands, what is NS. Between the main hall and the tracks 1 and 2 you'll find several shops and some luggage storage. You'll also find a piano here, what I really like. You can find a piano at more bigger Dutch railway stations. When you're in Albert Heijn or Hema, the ceiling also looks pretty stunning. Throughout the station you'll find lots of screens with information about departing trains. At the end of the tracks 1, 2 and 3, what are the terminal tracks for the intercity trains, you'll find some other vending machines. You'll also find a vending machine for the Belgian railway company here. Plus you'll find some more shops. Throughout the station you'll find several vending machines where you can buy some snacks and drinks. In the Netherlands these vending machines are card only. Just keep this in mind. At the platform you'll find big screens with information about the departing trains. and this is my train that will take me all the way to Den Helder. At this moment there are no access gates yet in Maastricht. I don't know if there will be access gates soon or not. Anyway, when you change trains in Maastricht, you most likely change to another railway company as well. So when you're traveling with the use of an OV chip card, don't forget to touch out and in again at the right companies. The trains that are being used for this route are the VIRM trains made by Bombardier. The Dutch railway company has a total of 176 of these trains. So at this moment, these are the most common trains you can find in the Netherlands. These train sets come in a combination of 6 or 4 coaches. The train sets that do consist of 4 coaches host 390 seats, while the train sets of 6 coaches host 570 seats, plus standing places of course. These trains will be combined pretty often. For example, on my route from Maastricht to Den Helder, the last part was only going to Alkmaar, while the front part was going all the way to Den Helder. In the station of Den Bosch, another part was attached at the front of the train, so between Den Bosch and Alkmaar, this train consisted of 3 train sets. Although the Dutch railway company is not buying these trains anymore, they have bought these trains in 4 different batches. The oldest one have been built between 1991 and 1996, and the newest ones between 2007 and 2009. Therefore, you will also find these trains in different interiors. I will only show you the newest trains, so they date back from 2007 to 2009, and the other trains that have been refurbished. All the trains that have not been refurbished yet, but that are a little bit older, will probably look very much like the refurbished trains soon as well. On the outside you can recognize if a train is refurbished or not on the continuous blue stripe. When this continuous blue stripe is at the upper decks, this is a non-refurbished train. This also counts for the newer trains. When this continuous blue stripe is at the lower deck, this means this train has been refurbished. Refurbished or not, on the outside you find some screens that will indicate the final destination, and on the extra thin blue line here you can see exactly where the first class is located. Of course, the numbers 1 and 2 also tell you where the first and the second class is. Other icons, like for example a bike symbol, will indicate where you can park your bike in this train. The green stickers you will see all over the place are only here during the COVID-19 pandemic. They indicate where people can sit. Normally you won't see these stickers. I'll start off by showing the interior of the refurbished trains, and I'll start off in the second class. All second class chairs are blue, and in the main compartments the second class comes in a 2x2 configuration. Although there are some exceptions, as you can see here. These trains do come in different zones. In general, the upper decks are quiet zones and the lower decks are non-quiet zones. When people walk through the train, they in general prefer to do this at the lower decks. Therefore, at the lower decks, most chairs are facing each other, so it's easier to talk with friends and family. And at the upper decks, you'll find most chairs in an airplane composition. At the chairs that are facing each other, you'll find a garbage can right under the table that's near the window. The seats in an airplane composition do have a good seating pitch. You'll find a fold-out table in the chair in front of you, and also between the chairs in front of you, you'll find a small garbage can. At the upper decks, you'll find a coat hanger in the chair in front of you, and at the lower decks, this will be on the side of the train. Luggage racks can be found at the lower decks only, but because this is a double-deck train, these are not very big. At the end of most carriages at the lower deck, you'll also find some extra space for luggage. Right next to that, you'll find a big couch, one of my favorite spots in these trains. Back in 1991, when these trains were introduced, rail catering on Dutch long intercity routes was a common thing, so they installed lifts for this. Because they don't use the space for lifts anymore, they now turn this into a baggage space at the lower decks, and at the space between the carriages you'll find an extra folding chair, as you can see here. Between some backends you'll find more storage for luggage. Between the carriages at the middle decks where near the doors you'll find some more seats, and on some spots you'll also find some space to park your bike over here. The chairs in first class are red instead of blue. First class comes in a 1x2 configuration and you have the same ID as in the second class, with lower decks where you have, well, non-quiet zones, and upper decks where you find quiet zones. At the end of the carriages at the lower decks you'll find a couch as well, and just like in the second class you'll find exactly the same amount of extra luggage space. Just like second class, at the lower deck most chairs are facing each other, and at the upper deck most chairs do come in an airplane composition. Although second class is fine, when it comes to naming the things you find in the chairs in the first class, this is a lot more. You find a belt for magazines, and there's a footrest. Just like in the second class, you'll find a table you can fold out in the chair in front of you, and there's a garbage can between the chairs in front of you. The chairs are wider, you have more leg room, and all chairs can be reclined. Each chair does have its individual armrest, so also between the chairs you'll find an extra armrest. That you won't find this in the second class. You'll find the power plug at the part where you find two chairs next to each other. Where you find the solo seats, there are no power plugs at all. In the second class you won't find power plugs either. Something you will only find in first class are small reading lights. At the end of all compartments, both upper and lower deck and both first and second class, you'll find a screen with route information. At some spots between the carriages you'll also find these screens. NS is known for art in the trains. I won't go into details too much, because I already tell you a lot of things, but these doors handles are pretty cool. For example, you'll find several toilets on these trains. Well, I won't show you all, but these are the toilets that are also accessible for people with a wheelchair. Most vandalism in trains is on the toilets, where people just spray and write things on the walls. Because of all the artworks here, these toilets are pretty vandalism proof. Besides that, I really like the artworks in here. My experience with the cleanness of toilets in Dutch trains is very mixed. In general, the quality of the cleanness of the toilets is getting better. Something I really like, by the way, is this coat hanger here. It says coat in Dutch. Something I haven't experienced in lots of other trains is the urinal over here. In all double-deck intercity trains in the Netherlands, free Wi-Fi is available. This won't just give you an internet connection, but also route information. There's no entertainment system linked to it. The internet connection isn't that fast though. However, it's free and there's no data limit. As I promised earlier, I also show you the interior of the newer trains. Well, actually the interior on these trains is older, but these are the trains that have been bought between 2007 and 2009. So the trains are newer, but the interior is older. Unlike the previous train, at the lower deck most chairs do come in an airplane mode, and at the upper deck most chairs are facing each other. The stairs on these trains are wider than in the older VIRM trains. This is because there is no space reserved for an elevator for the rail catering trolley. You'll find one bigger toilet for disabled people and some smaller toilets for, well, non-disabled people. Time to show the chairs in second class that come in an airplane composition. As you can see here, you have a big fold-out table. Below that you'll find something like, I guess, a magazine rack, and below that you'll find a personal garbage can. In the first class this is pretty much the same, although here you also find a footrest and you can recline the seats. And of course you have more leg space and the seats are wider. Just like first class on the refurbished trains, you only find power plugs at this point where you find two chairs next to each other. The number of power plugs is just pretty low, especially when you compare it with newer trains. Well, there's a whole lot more to tell, but I don't want this video to take forever. For the next 3 minutes or so, I'll show you some views from the train. This train stops in bigger cities like Eindhoven, then Bosch, Utrecht, Amsterdam and Alkmaar as well. The top speed during this service is 140 km per hour. The last part is really slow.
station Den Helder. De verwachte aankomsttijd is, of de geplande aankomsttijd moet ik zeggen, is 18:22, maar ik denk dat wij ietsje eerder aan gaan komen. En dit is, omdat dit de eindbestemming is, wens ik u alvast een hele fijne avond toe. Neem alsjeblieft uw bagage mee.
So I'm here at the railway station of Den Helder. I hope you like this video. When you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And when you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, subscribe to my channel of course. See you on my next video.